that took place in this body or in the course of November 7th is directly related to this war in Iraq. Directly related. And the presence of a number of people who are here now is directly related to the will of the American people to end this war, which never should have been started. Fact is, the strategy to escalate the troops is not new. It has been tried at least 4 other times. It won't work this time. It didn't work those times. The thing to do now is to engage diplomatically and politically. That is what this situation calls for, and that is the only thing that will bring success in this conflict at this time. Support the troops? Of course. Of course support the troops. Always we support the troops. But there comes a time when you cannot get the success that you seek at the barrel of a gun. You have to talk it out. You have to engage diplomatically. You have to engage politically. And there is no substitute for that. Support the troops, but bring them home. Support the troops, redeploy them, and allow the Iraqi people to seize and protect their country at this time. I carry the message here today on behalf of people like Phil Steger and Friends for a Nonviolent World, on behalf of the Chapter 27 of Veterans for Peace, on behalf of every patriot who stands for peace in the frigid cold every Wednesday night on Lake Street Bridge in Minneapolis. I carry that message. On behalf of the 3,100 Americans killed, including 44 Minnesotans, I carry that message. On behalf of 24,000 scarred and wounded young Americans, including 372 Minnesotans, I carry the message. On behalf of the families and the loved ones of the damaged and deceased, I carry the message that the American soldier has done what has been asked, and it's time for politicians to step forward and do their job, which is to seek a political and diplomatic solution to this conflict, something that this latest escalation cannot do. On behalf of the $8 billion we send to Iraq each month, hard-working American tax dollars that could be used to enrich the lives of the 86,000 uninsured children in Minnesota, or for nearly the 700,000 Minnesota Medicare patients, I carry the message that we need peace. We need to pursue it vigorously, unwaveringly, and urgently. On behalf of the Americans who purposefully mislead repeatedly, including the administration as related to these weapons of mass destruction when none existed, on behalf of the people who claim falsely of the collusion between 9/11 and Saddam Hussein where none existed, on behalf of the people who have said the regime change will be welcomed with flowers instead of IEDs, I say stop the deception. Start telling the truth. On behalf of the people who say that the Iraqi oil revenues would pay for this war, instead of draining the American treasury of $400 billion, I say stop the deception. Start telling the truth. On behalf of those Americans who told us repeatedly facts which got us into this war in the first place, and which they're trying to sustain us in this war now, I say stop the deception, stop the killing, stop the carnage, support our troops. Do not support this escalation. Send a clear signal to the president that this is the wrong way to go. For 6 years now, while the deception has deepened, we were told to shut up, bite your tongues, you're not patriotic as me, you don't love America as much as I do. None of that is true. We have to stop this polarizing language and really focus on the best way out of this. Even people who support the escalation can't claim that we're going to be in America forever. What is your plan for eventually getting out of this thing? We say let's start the withdrawal now. Let's start the diplomatic solution now. Let's start the political solution now. I want to say, on behalf of those who really thirst for peace, who believe that peace really is the answer, that we need to look at the words of Martin Luther King Jr. when he spoke out against the Vietnam War. He said, there comes a time when silence is betrayal, and so it is. And so in keeping and in line with the legacy of Dr. King, I want to talk about peace today. To those people who believe in the principles of peace and that peaceful dissent that guided Dr. King, those people should know that for you to raise your voice on behalf of peace, is a patriotic act, is a good thing, and you should not listen. One more minute, just to wrap up.
I yield the gentleman an additional minute.
The gentleman is recognized.
To those people who say that, who believe in peace, who believe peace is the right way to go, let me wrap up my remarks by just reminding you that Marine General Peter Pace, somebody who knows a little bit about warfare, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, just last week said, "There's no doubt in my mind that the dialogue here in Washington strengthens our democracy, period." He added, potential enemies of the United States, they may take comfort in rancor, but they don't know anything about how democracy works. The fact is that peace is patriotic. Dissenting from a ill-fated policy of the president is the right thing to do. Indeed, it's our obligation. So please continue to stand up for peace and never forget that peace is the answer and peace is going to prevail.
Gentleman from California.
I want to yield, just yield myself 1 minute, Madam Speaker,
Gentleman's
just to